Welcome, friends. I'm Gina Nicole, and this is the Goddess Channel, where we awaken our spiritual awareness, connect from our hearts, and amplify goodness in the world through channeled messages we co-create together with Spirit. Today's message may bring relief, hopefully, to a part of your journey that can be often misunderstood or shamed. It's about limerence and the powerful role this can play in your spiritual awakening. Now, limerence is where we have that obsessive longing for another person, where it's not equivalent to what's happening in reality. So just know that if you've experienced that in the past, and probably more than once, it's not a character flaw for you to have to fix. What I downloaded about this yesterday is that it has been an important part of your spiritual awakening journey. So when you feel a stronger connection to someone in the astral than in the physical, even if there's intense physical chemistry that's mutual at times, this is a relationship that in real time often falls flat. You may have noticed it doesn't pan out. There's a disconnect between the internal feeling and the actuality of the connection. Maybe it feels toxic. Maybe it's more immature than the deep spiritual connection that you feel would suggest. Either way, the intimacy and longing you feel doesn't match the external reality. And that dissonance can bring up shame, grief, and sadness. I'm just getting the image of like total emo character, right? We've all been there. And I'm not bringing lightness to this to discount your feelings, but it's to lift us all up out of this. So please feel my compassion, but also know that we're here to go through this together and we can laugh about it and it's okay, but that never takes away from your pain. So anyways, let's continue. Know that there is purpose here, that you are connected on the astral plane and your higher selves are working together in even higher dimensions. In some cases, as I said, you might have a mutual attraction or a physical connection. And when that happens, it's often because of a past life memory that's being stirred. But this connection isn't meant to become a harmonious, growth-oriented, expansive, loving relationship in the human experience. And that's why it hasn't. I mean, we've all gone through these cycles, many of us. And it always seems to hit a brick wall. So know now that your growth is in the longing. It is in the separation, in the grief of not having it. That's the whole point here. Because what's being healed on the planet now, on a collective level, is requiring you as a healer, as a light worker, as a way shower. It requires you to have this experience, to feel what so many people before you have felt in order to alchemize it. Because what we are healing is this: the end of self-denial and self-degradation, period. And oftentimes we get triggered into denying ourselves, into degrading ourselves, into putting ourselves aside, making ourselves less than, not worthy, not important, in service of having our longing met. And that's no longer going to work in this world because we're rising above that. We're healing the pattern of abandoning ourselves in the name of being chosen, being loved, being seen. which can never be a match anyway. It can never be in harmony. Abandonment never gets you to that promised land. It's completely an illusion. So, Source is no longer allowing you to live in the illusion that denying your worth will lead to love. That playing small, being good, or waiting for external validation will somehow result in true belonging. It's this idea of sacrificing yourself, your truth, your dignity in exchange for something you want. And that transactional vibe, we've talked about this in other videos, that sort of transactional vibe that we thought we had to engage in is just not happening because it's not love. It's not the correct vibration. It's a bargain. It's a transaction. It's a coping mechanism that your ego convinced you would allow you to survive inside of false systems of hierarchy and societal structure. And those structures, as we've also been discussing over many months now, are crumbling because we are finally healing our wounds and we're paving a new path forward. So I would love you to hear this with your whole being. Self-denial ends now. And why don't we just take a moment and breathe here and let this energy wash through us. And let Spirit just bring us the frequencies that are going to allow us to shift and heal this at an even more accelerated rate. Beautiful. Because this is what you are healing for the collective by experiencing it personally. Your higher self is holding the expansive frequency of the spiritual connection in the higher realms where it exists. But your human self is transmuting the ancestral patterns on this plane of reality. So let your heart be at peace. Because something that feels so real to you, a spiritual connection that you know in your heart of hearts is true, it's because on some plane it is true. But what we've chosen to do coming to this plane of reality, this earth plane, is to participate in integrity here with what's real here, what's happening here. And not engaging in low vibrational frequencies in the hopes that it'll get us somewhere else. So know that. We're doing the work in front of us today. And this is why the teachings on this planet by wonderful teachers have been so centered on being present, being with the frequency of love, being with the breath. Because that's where everything that you need to know in this reality lies, and where you'll be able to gauge what is real and what is not here because of the frequency that your body can see that it exists on. So let me say that in a simpler way, in a different way. Your body knows what's going on in every moment. That is the gauge of your intuition that connects to this plane. So when you're intuiting a situation that you're in, your body is telling you whether it feels like a contractive experience, a lower vibrational experience that's contracting your energy, or whether it's a higher vibrational experience that is expansive to your energy, that is life-giving, that is augmenting to your spirit. And so your body tells the tale, and you're being called to listen to that and to participate fully and honestly in the reality, being a human being that we're all in right now. That's the name of the game here. because anything that we can tune into on the spiritual planes, on the angelic planes, like that's going to feel harmonious and peaceful and beautiful and like truth. And that is what our souls are familiar with. And so we're going to deeply be longing for that and seeking that as humans. But seeking it in the wrong places and seeking it where it cannot exist and where it's demonstrating to us that it doesn't exist, and our bodies are getting that gut-wrenching feeling. That's how we can discern. And that's how we can be right with ourselves here. And so what does that mean? Slowing down, staying with the breath, staying present, and getting curious. What is really here for me in this moment? Is this a call to love myself more, to stand with myself, to honor myself, and then connect with people who also honor themselves and honor me? That's really what we're talking about here, so that we don't get caught in these weird situations where we're trying to deny ourselves in hopes of something greater, because that's just simply not how it works. That's what we're healing. That's what we're transmuting here. So as we complete this message, remember, you are the bridge. You are the transformation. You're doing the work here on this earth plane to heal for everyone. This is beautiful, and you are so loved. If this message resonates, and if you'd like more channeled guidance that meets you where you are on your awakening path, I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel so that your energy is connected to this container and you'll be even more in tune with my energy so that we can co-create these transmissions together. Thank you for being here. I love you.